Hi YouTube, Billy here. I meant to do this video standing up, but Conehead here isn't feeling very well. So we're gonna do the top 5 Yu-Gi-Oh decks of the format laying down. I will predict the top 5 in my dog's stupid looking cone. Number 5! Number 5 is going to Heretics. That's right, Heretics. Why Heretics, you might ask? Well, Heretics are getting some new upgrades that you might not know about, or have realized. The first upgrade is Volcanosaurus. Volcanosaurus just adds so much more OTK potential. Just by splashing in one vanilla level 5 dragon type, they get to go and have that extra burn power. They also got new rank 6s like Polymer Constellar 7 or whatever, that allows them to either bounce a monster back to the hand, or allows them to return a monster from their grave to their hand, thereby adding more consistency. Plus, they have pretty reliable first turn kill loops. I don't care what anybody says. I think one turn killing with this deck's really easy. First turn shot. Because you could just bring a guy, a Thunder Charger, and go right after those guys. Figures I picked the Rogue deck to be one of the top 5, but I think Heretics can actually do it this format. You also gotta remember that Max C is gonna go down in popularity, since a lot of decks now and in the future are going to be based around getting extra normal summons before the special summon. So, that being said, we have to take into account the elemental dragons coming out. There's gonna be one deck that really abuses the crap out of them. Number 4. Coming in at number 4 is going to be Machinia, Gadget, Gearia, just any kind of machine deck. The reason being is that with the Earth Elemental Dragon, they can now just special summon like crazy, bringing out Big Eye faster than even Mermails can do it. They have plenty of first turn kill cards like Limiter Removal, Ultimate Offering, and they have a good balance of Spell, Trap, and monster effects, so they don't have to worry about too much about getting like a first turn Shockmaster screwing up their deck versus something like Mermails, because Mermails really need their monster effects. If you call monster effects, they're pretty done right there. I also like the fact that they have the Exceed that just lets them add a machine level 4 machine to their hand, and then they just keep plussing and plussing and plussing. That much deck thinning is so good because you're adding more options to not only your hand, but if you have to get into a top decking contest with your opponent, you're going to grab more of the sweet stuff, or at least some nice back row that will help stop them from being able to just, rush you with the stronger monsters. The only complaint I have about this deck is that indeed they still are pretty weak to Macrocosmos. You Machinia Fortress, you got to chuck to the graveyard. The Earth Elemental Dragon, again, you have to have something in the graveyard, but bring back, or else you kind of waste it. But all in all, I still believe that Machinia Gadget is going to be one of the top 5 in this format. They're also getting Geary Accelerator, which will let them special summon any 2 level 4 Geary monsters from the deck. If you're waiting for the other end of the effect, like the cost, they get banished, or they pay life points or something, you're gonna wait forever, because that's it. That's the effect. They just special summon 2 level 4 Geary monsters. That was fun, but now we're getting serious because we're in the top 3. Top 3 formats of the deck are pretty important stuff, so I better not screw this up. Number 3. Coming in at 3 is Rescue Rabbit. Rescue Rabbit's doing the same thing Rescue Rabbit always did, bringing out that Laggy with 4 back row, and it does it decently consistently. Guava got upgraded because now a lot more things are running smaller guys, so Guava can get over them. Rescue Rabbit's counterpicks were Chaos Dragons and, to an extent, Chaos Agents. Both of those are seeing a lot less play, especially since they don't want to get shock locked. And a lot of decks can make first turn Shockmaster. So, Rescue Rabbit's going to get the third one for me, just because it's always been middle tier. And it didn't, you can't say Rescue Rabbit can just beat anything, okay? Like, Rescue Rabbit defeats anything. You can't say, I'm good against Rabbit. No, you really aren't. Even Mermail can't say that. Just because you're running 3 MSTs, so was everything else that was weak to Macrocosmos, so it's nothing special. And yeah. Here we go, number 2. I bet you know what this deck is, though. Coming in at number 2, Mermail. Mermail has proven themselves to be pretty consistent with OTKs, ridiculously good to set it up. They run Moon Glacia, which can randomly discard 2 from the opponent's hand, at the cost of having 5 waters in the graveyard, which is stupidly easy to do. Though not all of them run Moon Glacia, some of them opt to go for pure Mermail build. They got Abyss Sphere, so they're resistant to blind MSTs and to heavy storms. And they're getting more support when the Water Elemental Dragon comes out, where they can just drop Undyne completely, even those that are running Undyne. Possibly drop Undyne completely, just so they can get extra search power with the Water Elemental Dragon, which will also help their OTKs. Seriously. Look at this thing. That's ridiculous. Although it has a lot of question marks. Oh boy. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of people fighting me about the Mermail thing. But truth is, the Rescue Rabbit match could be a little bit better for me to give them a higher ranking. And they have a really big problem against the number 1 deck. So, just what is going to be the number 1 deck? I mean, Mermail's fast, they have reliable first turn kill combos. What on earth could ever pass them? Would you believe it if I said it's a deck that doesn't exactly have the best first turn kill ratio? That maybe it's a bit of an anti-meta deck? Nah, you wouldn't believe me. But you'll see. Number 1. Here it is. Broken deck in the universe. Steel Swarms are everything that Mermail aren't. Mermail has a big weakness to anti-meta things like Macro Cosmos. Steel Swarm doesn't even care. And there's so many different Steel Swarm builds, it's ridiculous. Some will run Rescue Rabbit, some won't. Steel Swarm can run Macro Cosmos, they just don't have to run that dude that lets them banish a Steel Swarm from their grave and then add one to their hand. Well, sorry, Evil Swarm. Or Is Swarm, whatever they're called now. Not only that, but their Exceeds are really broken. Their level 4 boss monster Exceed requires 2 Steel Swarm or E-Swarm monsters, and it has 2,550 attack. You or your opponent cannot special summon level 5 or higher while it has an Exceed material. You can detach one Exceed material from this card to search for one Infestation spell or trap from your deck and add it to your hand. Considering this is one of their cards, that's the Infestation card, it makes all Evil Swarm or Steel Swarm monsters you control unaffected by spell and traps. Oh, okay. There's also Bahamut. In this case, I couldn't get over either one of these two, so now I can just discard a Steel Swarm from my hand after detaching one, and I gain permanent control over it. Yeah, that's fair. So, this deck's just gonna have answers to everything? No, seriously, it does. It's ridiculous that... I'll pause it for a second. This thing is still good. Evil Storm Ophion, the one I just said the effect for. This thing is still good, even if your opponent doesn't run level 5s. Because level 5s are higher. Because you're still gaining +2 from it. You can still gain +2. So, who cares? There's also the Evil Storm Ouroboros, which requires 3 level 4 monsters. And then you can attach one of Xyz materials and activate one of the effects once while it's face up on the field. You can target a card your opponent controls or turn it to their hand. You can send one random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard, or banish one card in your opponent's graveyard. A thing to remember is that Tsukuyomi can be run at 2, so you can run Tsukuyomi at 2, use Bahamut's effect, then next turn flip Bahamut face down. Ouroboros face down. Flip Ouroboros face down. Flip it face up, and use the hand effect again to discard send one random from the hand to the graveyard, and kind of just keep picking at your opponent's hand. He can also be used with this deck can also be used with the virus cards, Deck Devastation Virus, and to a lesser extent, but a plausible chance of you being able to run Eradicator Epidemic Virus and just kind of making Ouroboros, chucking one from random from your opponent's hand, hoping it's a spell or a trap or a high-powered monster, and then playing Deck Devastation Virus. So, all in all, I think that the Steel Swarms are going to be the best deck. They have no bad matchups. They have a good matchup against Mermail. Frankly, I would have put Mermail as like number 4, but I kind of thought about it, and it's just a safer bet to keep them at 2, because if I'm wrong, a lot of people are wrong with me, but if I'm right, you know, I didn't lose anything. I was kind of right for just not underestimating them. But seriously, no. Oh yeah, and they have monsters that may contribute to destroy a spell or a trap, or almost phase that monster. So kind of an exiled force for either spell or traps, or you can pick an exiled force that's like an exiled force for this deck. So all in all, Mermails, you better watch out. Steel Swarm's seriously going to be the #1 deck of the format. And that is my top 5 for the format. I could be right, I could be wrong. I will have another video talking about some decks that didn't make it. I'm sure a lot of Prophecy players are pissed, and a lot of people are going to say I'm stupid for ignoring a deck that can go anywhere from +4 to +8. But, like I said, that's another time. If there's any deck you think I missed, feel free to comment, and I'll add it to the video. But comment on YouTube. I know I play locals, and some people are going to comment on Facebook. If you suggest on Facebook, I am going to ignore it. Seriously, just make a YouTube if you really want to comment that much. Okay, see you later.